Hello, friends. In this video, we want to share the stories of people who have recently left this world. Their lives and legacies deserve to be remembered, and we hope you will discover something meaningful about them today. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Now, let's get started.
Died on September 15, 2025. Jim Edgar was a respected American statesman, remembered for his calm leadership, moderation, and steady hand in guiding Illinois through an era of both challenge and change. Serving as the 38th governor of Illinois from 1991 to 1999, he built a reputation as a pragmatic Republican leader who valued integrity over partisanship. He worked to restore the state's financial health, emphasized education reform, and earned respect from both sides of the political spectrum for his cooperative style and sense of responsibility. To many, he embodied an older tradition of politics where service meant listening, balancing, and seeking solutions rather than conflict. James Robert Edgar was born on July 22, 1946, in Vinita, Oklahoma, and grew up in Charleston, Illinois, after his family moved there during his childhood. His early life was not without hardship. His father died in a car accident when Jim was still young, leaving his mother, Betty, to raise him and his brothers largely on her own. These early struggles gave Edgar a sense of resilience and an appreciation for the quiet strength of family and community. At Charleston High School, he was active, ambitious, and drawn to leadership roles, qualities that carried over into his years at Eastern Illinois University. There, he studied history, served as student body president, and sharpened the skills of diplomacy and persuasion that would later define his public life. His political career began in earnest in the 1970s, when he was elected to the Illinois House of Representatives in 1976. Though his tenure in the legislature was brief, it revealed his aptitude for governance and his ability to build trust across party lines. Soon after, he was appointed to serve in the administration of Governor Jim Thompson, first as a legislative liaison and later, in 1981, as Secretary of State. Edgar went on to win 2 full terms in that office, serving for nearly a decade. He was known there for practical reforms, strengthening laws against drunk driving, introducing mandatory liability insurance for drivers, and modernizing the office to make it more efficient and accountable to the public. By the time he assumed the governorship in 1991, Jim Edgar had established himself as a leader of quiet determination and steady vision, ready to take on the greater challenges of steering Illinois through uncertain times.
Died on September 14, 2025. Beverly Thompson was a Canadian journalist and broadcaster whose warmth, professionalism, and credibility made her one of the most familiar faces on Canadian television. For decades, she informed and guided audiences with clarity and compassion, bringing both the day's hard news and human stories into the homes of viewers across the country. Her legacy lies not only in the interviews she conducted or the headlines she reported, but also in the trust she earned from generations who relied on her voice each morning. Born on September 15, 1960, in Toronto, Ontario, Beverly grew up with an interest in storytelling and communication. She pursued her education in radio and television broadcasting, determined from an early age to carve out a place for herself in the media landscape. Her career began in local newsrooms, where she proved herself with persistence, skill, and a keen sense of empathy. Over time, she rose steadily through the ranks, becoming a household name as co-host of popular national morning programs. What distinguished Beverly Thompson was not only her professionalism, but also her ability to connect on a human level. Whether interviewing politicians, covering breaking news, or sharing personal stories of struggle and triumph, she approached every assignment with a balance of rigor and compassion. Viewers often spoke of her warmth, her calm presence in difficult moments, and her ability to make complicated issues understandable. Behind the camera, she was equally admired by colleagues for her generosity, mentorship, and unwavering dedication to teamwork. Her career spanned decades of profound change in Canadian media, yet she remained a constant presence, steady, trustworthy, and committed to serving the public. She also became a strong advocate for health awareness, lending her voice and influence to campaigns that encouraged early detection and support for those facing serious illnesses. Beverly Thompson's passing marks the loss of a voice that guided Canadians through morning routines, breaking news, and countless human stories. She will be remembered not only as a broadcaster, but as a compassionate communicator whose grace, intelligence, and sincerity left an indelible mark on Canadian journalism.
Died on September 15, 2025, Susanna Agostini was a Brazilian model, actress, and television personality whose career reflected elegance, charisma, and an enduring connection with audiences. Known for her striking beauty and magnetic presence, she became a recognizable figure in Brazilian entertainment, admired not only for her work on screen and in fashion, but also for the warmth and authenticity she brought to every appearance. Her life was a blend of artistry, public attention, and personal resilience, and she leaves behind a legacy that continues to inspire those who followed her career. Born in 1965 in Brazil, Susanna grew up in a family that valued both tradition and ambition. From a young age, she was drawn to performance and self-expression, showing an interest in modeling and the arts. Her natural grace soon opened doors into the world of fashion, where she quickly became known for her ability to embody both sophistication and relatability. Opportunities in television and acting followed, where her charm and professionalism allowed her to stand out in a competitive industry. Throughout her career, Susanna balanced the glamour of public life with the challenges that came with it. She worked in front of cameras not only as a model, but also as a television presenter and actress, building a career that touched multiple aspects of Brazilian media. Audiences connected with her because she never seemed distant. She carried herself with confidence, but also with approachability, making viewers feel included in her world. Colleagues described her as generous, disciplined, and devoted to her craft, someone who brought both professionalism and joy to every project. Beyond her professional achievements, Susanna was admired for her resilience in the face of personal struggles and for her ability to remain grounded despite the pressures of fame. She represented an era of Brazilian entertainment that combined glamour with authenticity, leaving an impression that lasted long after the spotlight moved elsewhere. Her passing is felt as a profound loss, but her legacy endures in the photographs, performances, and memories she created, and in the inspiration she gave to younger generations seeking to follow a similar path. Susanna Agostini will be remembered as a woman of beauty, talent, and strength, whose presence enriched Brazilian culture and whose memory will remain alive in the hearts of those who admired her.
Born on June 1, 1937, in Memphis, Tennessee, Morgan Freeman would rise from modest beginnings to become one of the most admired and recognizable actors in the world. His name today is synonymous with dignity, wisdom, and a voice that has become part of global culture. He is celebrated for iconic performances in films such as Driving Miss Daisy, Glory, The Shawshank Redemption, $1 Million Baby, which earned him the Academy Award, and countless others that displayed both range and restraint. His greatest achievement lies not in awards alone, but in his ability to embody truth on screen, to give audiences characters who feel as real as their own neighbors, fathers, or friends. Morgan's early life was marked by hardship and movement. He was the youngest of 5 children born to Mamie Edna, a teacher, and Morgan Porterfield Freeman, a barber. When his parents struggled to make ends meet, he was sent as an infant to live with his grandmother in Charleston, Mississippi. That rural upbringing shaped much of his character. The close-knit community, the lessons of resilience, and the quiet dignity of ordinary people became the foundation of the authenticity he later carried into his acting. As a boy, Freeman was curious and energetic, but also contemplative. He found refuge in books, stories, and the flickering light of cinema screens. It was in school that his natural talent for performance first revealed itself. At the age of 9, he performed in a class play, discovering the exhilaration of embodying another character and captivating an audience. Teachers encouraged him, sensing both his intelligence and his rare ability to connect with others through expression. Though he excelled in performance, his adolescence was not an easy path. His family moved often, following work, and at times stability seemed elusive. By the time he reached high school, Morgan had to balance the weight of expectation, poverty, and the uncertainty of the future. Yet even in those years, when he might have pursued a more practical path, he clung to acting as his compass. He won a statewide drama competition at 12, proof that his talent was not only evident, but exceptional. Before university or professional training, Freeman already possessed what would become his hallmark, a presence both commanding and gentle, a way of speaking that made simple words resonate, and a quiet authority born not from privilege, but from experience. These early years, shaped by movement, struggle, and discovery, laid the foundation for a life that would take him from rural Mississippi stages to the grandest theaters of world cinema.
As Morgan Freeman moved into his teenage years and early adulthood, the world seemed to pull him in many directions, but the thread of performance never left him. After finishing high school in Greenwood, Mississippi, he was offered a drama scholarship to Jackson State University. Yet his sense of duty and a longing to see more of the world led him to turn down that opportunity in favor of military service. In 1955, he enlisted in the United States Air Force, imagining himself as a fighter pilot. The reality was different. Instead of soaring through the skies, Freeman found himself working as a radar technician. The precision and discipline of the Air Force shaped his character, but he quickly realized that flying jets was not his destiny. What he missed was the immediacy of storytelling, the freedom of expression he had discovered as a child on stage. After several years, he left the military, carrying with him both discipline and a renewed clarity. His true path lay in acting. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Freeman moved to Los Angeles, determined to study the craft he had once set aside. He enrolled in acting classes at Los Angeles City College, where he studied not only performance, but also dance and voice. These years were filled with struggle. Money was scarce, auditions were difficult to land, and rejection was constant. Yet Freeman treated each setback as part of his education, building resilience alongside skill. He also took classes in New York and immersed himself in the vibrant world of theater, where the energy of live performance reminded him of why he had chosen this path. Small opportunities began to appear. He worked as a dancer in the 1964 World's Fair and in San Francisco nightclubs, showcasing his versatility and stage presence. His commitment led to roles in regional theater, and slowly his name began to circulate among those who recognized his seriousness and talent. By the mid-1960s, he was appearing in off-Broadway productions, testing himself in roles that demanded both physicality and emotional honesty. Though the climb was steep, these early steps solidified Freeman's identity as an actor. He was not chasing glamour. He was building a foundation. Every class, every small stage, every rejection and minor success added to the depth that audiences would one day see on screen. His youth and military years had taught him patience. His studies gave him craft, and his persistence ensured he would not abandon the dream. By the end of this chapter of his life, Morgan Freeman had moved from a boy in Mississippi with a gift for storytelling to a young actor in America's biggest cities, steadily preparing himself for the breakthrough that lay ahead.
By the 1970s and 1980s, Morgan Freeman's persistence finally began to pay off in ways that reached larger audiences. After years of honing his craft in small theaters, he landed steady work in children's television, joining the cast of The Electric Company in 1971. For nearly a decade, he played characters like Easy Reader and Vincent the Vegetable Vampire, bringing joy and literacy to millions of children. Though it was not glamorous work, it gave Freeman visibility, financial stability, and the chance to sharpen his screen presence. At the same time, he continued to return to the stage, where his performances in Shakespeare and modern dramas won critical attention and established him as a serious actor. Theater became his proving ground. In 1978, he earned acclaim for his role as Zeke in The Mighty Gents, and later in Coriolanus and Driving Miss Daisy. He showed a remarkable range, from classical power to quiet humanity. These stage successes paved the way for his film breakthrough in the late 1980s. His supporting role as a volatile pimp in Street Smart, 1987, earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, instantly changing how Hollywood saw him. Freeman was no longer just a dependable stage actor or a friendly television face. He was a formidable presence in film. The 1990s became the decade that secured his legend. He played Sergeant Major Rollins in Glory, reminding audiences of the dignity of African American soldiers in the Civil War. In 1989, he also brought Driving Miss Daisy to the screen, reprising his stage role as Hoke Colburn, a chauffeur whose quiet grace and wisdom made him unforgettable. In 1994 came The Shawshank Redemption, where his portrayal of Ellis "Red" Redding became one of the most beloved performances in cinema history, his narration turning into one of the most iconic voices in film. And in 2004, his performance in $1 Million Baby won him the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, the long-awaited recognition of decades of work. Beyond awards and roles, Morgan Freeman became a cultural presence. His voice, deep and resonant, was sought for documentaries and narration, becoming almost synonymous with wisdom itself. He moved easily between genres, from thrillers like Seven to action blockbusters and historical epics. He also took on leadership roles within the film industry, supporting emerging artists and using his influence to encourage more inclusive storytelling. In the later years of his career, Freeman continued to work steadily, refusing to retire, always seeking new challenges. He appeared in films big and small, lent his voice to global projects, and remained a fixture in public life. His journey from a poor boy in Mississippi to one of the most respected actors on the planet became a story of inspiration, a reminder of the power of resilience and dedication.